You probably think you know what an oligarchy is. A handful of incredibly rich people secretly pulling the strings, dictating policy from behind velvet curtains. It's an old concept, going all the way back to Aristotle, who defined it as rule by the wealthy few, for their own benefit. And for a long time, we've had this idea that societies can swing between democracy and oligarchy, often pointing to historical examples like the American Gilded Age, with its infamous robber barons. But what if I told you that our understanding of oligarchy is not just incomplete, but fundamentally flawed? What if the oligarchy we face today is not just a return to a historical norm, but something far more insidious and destructive than anything we've seen before? Because the truth is, the current state of wealth concentration and political influence in the United States isn't just comparable to the Gilded Age, it's actually worse. Much, much worse. And understanding why it's worse, how it got this way, and what it means for the future of democracy, is crucial. Let's start by clarifying. Aristotle drew a distinction between an aristocracy, where the best citizens rule for the common good, and an oligarchy, where the wealthy few rule purely for their own gain. The key differentiator isn't just who holds power, but why. In a true aristocracy, leaders are chosen for their merit and virtue, serving the polis. In an oligarchy, wealth itself is the primary qualification, and the pursuit of more wealth and power becomes the driving force of governance. For centuries, this distinction helped frame discussions about ideal forms of government versus corrupt ones. Fast forward to the late 19th and early 20th centuries in America, the so-called Gilded Age. Names like Carnegie, Rockefeller, Vanderbilt became synonymous with immense, almost unimaginable wealth, and with it, immense political sway. They built sprawling industrial empires, controlled railroads, oil, steel, and often bent politicians to their will. It was an era of unchecked capitalism, massive inequality, and legitimate fears about a burgeoning plutocracy. Many today draw parallels between that era and our own, often lamenting a return to Gilded Age economics. But as Nobel laureate Paul Krugman recently argued, that analogy is deeply unfair to the Gilded Age. Because the robber barons of yore, as staggeringly rich as they were